Hey everyone, this is Chris Alman, and I am walking through a yearly review today of some of the work that I've created this year in 2021. Just kind of a visual walkthrough of things, and I'm going to comment and let you know what I think, and just kind of go through what I've accomplished this year. Some of the things here you'll see, it's a very wide range of different styles. This one that's up on the screen now is it's a little bit of collage, a little bit of marker, paint, all kinds of different stuff here that I'm just trying different styles, different approaches, and I'm just trying to discover what I enjoy doing, how I enjoy doing it, what I enjoy working with, and what my subject matter is. And I've tried all kinds of different things this year, as you'll see. Some I have enjoyed, and some I have not. Some of these, this is collage here, a little bit of paint on it. There's some weird things here where I mix in a lot of like detailed drawing with collage, paint. Some of the things, what's odd is some of the things I enjoyed the process, but the end piece is kind of unsatisfactory, which is frustrating. I do enjoy a lot of just drawing and scribbling and doodling, as they say. It doesn't always result in the best artwork, but it is an enjoyable process for me because I don't have to think a whole lot. I don't have to struggle. It just kind of comes out. But trying to explore marrying those kind of two things where I'm, just painting and I'm creating something that's visually attractive, but it's also not struggle to produce it. Not quite there yet, but I'll figure it out. It may take me 10 years, but I'll figure it out. I did a lot of these small paintings this year, just exploring different styles and approaches, different techniques. You'll see that I went through and did a lot of their most people call abstract landscapes. Basically just texture, intuitive painting, and mark making, color, text. Here's a sketchbook. This is something I'm kind of proud of. This year I completed my first sketchbook entirely, which is a big accomplishment. I'm 50 years old this year, and I've never done that in my entire life, even though I've drawn since I was probably 5 years old. Created art since I was 5 years old. I've never finished an actual sketchbook, so that was a big accomplishment. These are a lot of my little paintings and sketches, and turned out pretty cool. It's nice to finish something like this and actually be able to flip through it and consider it done. Nice to look back on this stuff too, and you kind of forget some of this stuff that you did as you're evolving through your style and your process. And it's nice to look back at it. Man, I like that, and I like this, and I like that, and bring that stuff back into some of the things that you're exploring at a later stage. As you can see, there's all kinds of different approaches here, and styles, and mark making, and colors, and just trying different things to see what I enjoy doing. These are all abstract landscapes, which I'm attracted to. But I'm really trying to break out of this, and I'm not there yet. It's so easy just to kind of fall back, call something an abstract landscape. I guess it doesn't really have to be anything at the end of the day. Your art is what it is, but I don't know. I'm just exploring it. I think where I may be going in the future, at least in the next phase, is really just creating art that just makes me happy, and it doesn't have to even be anything at the end of the day. It's what the viewer likes, what I like, and I need to keep pushing myself to break out of this idea that it has to be something. It has to represent something. It needs to be land and sky, or it needs to be a person, or it needs to be a thing, or whatever. It just, at the end of the day, it needs to the process needs to be enjoyable, and the end result needs to be interesting to look at. It needs to make somebody happy when they look at it, whatever that is. And that doesn't have to be a thing. It doesn't have to be an object. It doesn't have to be a landscape that you can recognize. It could be just texture. It could be just color. It could be the interaction of line and shape on the page. And all that just creates art. Like, it's enjoyable to look at. And it's fun to create. And I think there's some stuff here that falls in that category where I really enjoyed creating it, and the end result was appealing and interesting to look at. I think it's a goal. That's a goal for me. I don't want it to be a struggle. I want it to be fun. I want it to get into what they call flow, where I'm just in the moment creating and not working, not worrying, not struggling. It just comes out. That's what I'm trying to accomplish in all of this, and it's gonna take a while. It's gonna be a whole process still of trying to figure out what that is for me. But there's some successful pieces in this sketchbook that I'm really happy with. You see, I'm experimenting a lot with collage, and layers, texture, line, lights and darks, glazing, where I put down colors and then put colors, transparent colors over top of them. Some of these here are a little muddy, but I guess that's all part of the process. This is a pretty big sketchbook. I don't know how many pieces are in this. Probably 50. I did it all this year. One of the things that I really enjoyed doing this year was doing like 6 paintings at a time, and just working from one to another, just realizing that I like the marks from one and then incorporating that into another painting, and just building and building and building. And at the end of the day, when you create 6 paintings, one of them at least is going to rise to the top, and you're really going to like it, versus just working on one at a time that kind of might become average. So it's a cool way to work on sketches. Still going with the sketchbook. Some of these ones I'm pushing myself to be just simple, which I really like, and that's hard for me. I tend to go towards more complex things, images. I just keep working on it and it becomes kind of busy. So I'm also trying to push myself towards simplicity while still making it kind of sophisticated. I don't know if that's the right word, but I am trying to push myself to simplify a lot of times, and that's hard for me. That's how some of those images there at the end were pushing towards simplicity. Here's my second sketchbook that I started. Some of these are kind of muddy too. Some of them are really texturized, which I was really trying to mess with texture, like these ones right here. Can't really tell, but they're really highly textured. So I was playing around with that. I like that a lot. Helps to create a lot of visual interest, especially up close. Scratching into the surface, different layers. I like that a lot. That ends up being, for me, that's what gets me in trouble, where I'm getting a little too busy, sometimes scratching and scratching and scratching, but I'm getting better at going back at that and simplifying over top of it with layers. See here, I'm really getting into collage, where I went through a phase this year, which I enjoyed doing. I would take some cheap paper and just paint on it and just create texture, colors, all kinds of stuff. And then I would take that and I would just rip it apart and put it back together. And I really enjoyed that process. I don't know if I'm going to continue down that road, but I spent a lot of time this year playing around with that idea. And I created some pretty cool pieces. That couple that I'm really happy with. One that I actually put in a frame, which I'll show later here. But a lot of these are just exploring, just creating, painting, just slapping stuff down on some cheap paper and creating texture, playing with colors and just ripping it apart. But here's some of the larger ones that I started to do with this process of painting cheap paper and tearing it apart. I also purchased some old magazines, 50, 60-year-old magazines, and started tearing those apart because I find that stuff really interesting. Some of the text that they used back then, images and things, are really interesting. I like the layering of the collage and the paint. So I'm sure I'll continue to play around with that element in the future while still trying to simplify and do everything else I'm doing. The problem I have with a collage, see here, I mean, some of these, I'm trying to remove that element of struggle and frustration. Getting collage to lay flat on a page, not wrinkle your paper. It's just, there's an element of struggle there that I don't like. I like the end result a lot of times. I like the layering, like the visual interest. But working with collage on paper is a bit of a struggle. And it might just be the paper, I think. I don't want to create a bunch of artwork that has to be stored. Excuse me. Because I don't have a whole lot of place to store it, so I'm working on paper right now, so that could be part of the struggle. It's just working with the paper and the collage. I've done a couple things on board this year, which is a better process. It's just dealing with boards after the fact. Plus the cost of it too. It can add up pretty quickly when you're creating this much artwork. So, I don't know. I'm just exploring. I guess working with collage on board is a lot more enjoyable because you're not fighting the paper. But these were fun to play with. Just got to keep flattening them. A lot of these tended towards the landscape. Not sure why, just because that's where I kind of gravitate to. And I was trying in a lot of these to just not really even think a whole lot and just let it come out. This one was on board, kind of messy, kind of busy. I'm realizing that and trying to simplify. This is one of the larger pieces that I did this year. I don't know if it's really successful, but it's interesting to look at. Hard to see here all the little details and stuff that excite me about it. This is one that I did actually on board. It turned out pretty cool, and the process was a little more enjoyable because I didn't have to fight the warping of the paper and all that kind of stuff. So I guess if I'm going to tackle the collage in the future, I have to work on board. These are two paintings, what they call a diptych, that I think were successful. It's hard to kind of see with the glare, but these are pretty cool. They turned out, the layers in here are really interesting. Colors are nice contrast, nice texture. It turned out good. That's where I'd like things to go in the future. This is a collage that I did that I think was pretty successful. Lots of different layers, colors, the pieces, texture in it. It turned out pretty cool. One that I actually framed. A lot of this stuff is from, again, 50, 60-year-old magazines, which adds a lot of interest to it as well. What is it? I don't know. It's a landscape. It's just something that I enjoyed the process. Visually interesting when it's done. And, yeah. This is one that's in progress. I don't love it, but I'm forcing myself to take pieces like this that in the past would have been considered done because I've just created something and it's done, but I'm living with it, just letting it sit around a little bit, kind of just looking at it day by day and going, okay, what is the next step with that? I think I'm getting kind of to the end here. These are some in-progress works, not done yet, but I'm just exploring the different layers and textures and shapes and seeing where it will go, just letting things come out. These are not finished pieces of art right now, but see where I'm trying to go with this, just exploring. And these are still kind of going towards landscape. There's like this sky and land element of it that I'm fighting and trying to get away from. Still going back there. I like it. Just fighting, keeping it interesting. Not doing the typical landscape. This is a collage on board. Still fighting through this, different layers, different textures, pieces and parts. Hard to kind of see here. Not sure if that one will be successful or not. This is an example of one of the, I was exploring different blues. Not thinking too much, just sticking down collage, and there's 6 different types, colors of blue here that I'm exploring just to see what I like and what I don't like. This is an example of there's one here that I really like. I think one in the bottom right that turned out pretty cool. That's about it. I'm pretty proud of what I accomplished this year. I created a lot of artwork. More, I mean, I haven't created this much artwork in my entire life. So, pretty proud of what I accomplished this year. This isn't even all of it. I mean, there's just stacks of stuff that didn't make the cut. It's probably some stuff that could have made the cut that I really like. It's buried somewhere. Created a lot of art this year. Very happy. Not completely happy with where I'm at as an artist, but I made a lot of progress this year. Pretty happy. So I hope you enjoyed this. And, if there's something you like here, pause it, zoom in on it. Let me know what you think. Here's looking forward to 2022. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Take care.